Before you go out and drop over $45,000 on a luxury badge, you need to see this. One of these SUVs offers more cargo space, a better warranty, and massive screens for $15,000 less than the other. But the other one has a new secret weapon under the hood that might just make it worth every single extra penny. Today, we are going to find out if the German luxury tax is actually a scam or if you get what you pay for. We are looking at two very different approaches to the family SUV for 2026. On my right, we have the all-new third-generation 2026 Audi Q3. It has been completely redesigned this year, with a focus on performance that is honestly shocking for this class. On my left, we have the 2026 Kia Sportage. It's the value king that has been stealing sales from everyone, including luxury brands. We are going to break this down category by category: exterior, interior, performance, and the all-important price tag to see which one actually deserves your money. Let's get into it. Let's start with the outside, because this is where you make your first impression. The 2026 Audi Q3 has grown up. Since this is the new third generation, Audi has changed the proportions quite a bit. It sits wider and lower than the old model, which makes it look much more aggressive. The front grille is the classic Audi single-frame design, but they flattened it out and made the mesh pattern much sharper. The headlights are now split into two distinct sections. You have your daylight running lights up top, which look like angry eyebrows, and the actual main beams are hidden slightly lower in the bumper. It's a trick a lot of car companies are doing, but it works here. The wheels on the S-Line models are massive 20-inch alloys that fill the arches perfectly. Around the back, you get this really cool light bar that stretches across the entire trunk. It actually has OLED technology, so the red light is incredibly crisp and doesn't look fuzzy at all. However, when you stand next to it, the Q3 is still a small car. It measures about 178.4 inches long. That is great for parking in the city, but it definitely looks compact. Now look at the Kia Sportage. It is just bigger. The 2026 Sportage is roughly 183.5 inches long. That is a solid 5 inches longer than the Audi, and you can see it with your own eyes. The design is also way more polarizing. The front has those boomerang-shaped LED lights that cut deep into the hood. The grille is this massive tiger nose design that stretches all the way to the edges of the car. It doesn't look as clean or as timeless as the Audi, but it definitely turns heads. The side profile of the Kia is a bit boxier, especially toward the back window. That is a hint at the cargo space we will talk about later. The wheels on the top trim Sportage X Pro are actually smaller, usually 17 or 18 inches, but they come with thicker tires because Kia is trying to market this as an adventure vehicle. So, for the exterior, it comes down to this. The Audi Q3 looks like a precision tool. It's tight, sharp, and expensive looking. The paint quality is visibly thicker and has less orange peel texture than the Kia. But the Kia Sportage looks like a much larger, more substantial vehicle. If you want your neighbors to know you have money, the Audi wins. If you want a car that physically dominates the driveway, the Kia takes it. Open the door, and this is where the price gap usually shows itself. Inside the 2026 Audi Q3, everything feels heavy. When you pull the door handle, there's a solid resistance. When you shut the door, it makes a deep thud sound that Audi is famous for. The materials are soft everywhere your hand touches. The top of the dashboard is a soft-touch slush mold material. The door panels have Alcantara or microfiber inserts that feel like suede. The biggest change for 2026 is the screen setup. Audi has ditched the old layout for a new digital stage. You have an 11.9-inch screen right in front of the steering wheel for your gauges, and it connects to a 12.8-inch curved infotainment screen in the middle. The graphics are incredible. It uses an OLED display, so the blacks are perfectly black, not gray. The response time is instant, like an expensive smartphone. There's zero lag when you swipe through maps. Also, the Q3 now has the gear shifter on the steering column, kind of like a Tesla or a Mercedes. This opens up the center console for two huge cup holders and a wireless charging pad that actually has a cooling fan to stop your phone from overheating. That's a detail cheap cars usually miss. Now, let's hop into the Kia Sportage. You might expect it to feel cheap, but it really doesn't. In fact, the screen setup in the Kia is arguably more impressive to look at. You get a massive panoramic curved display that houses two 12.3-inch screens under one single piece of glass. It looks like something out of a spaceship. The digital gauge cluster changes themes depending on your drive mode, turning red for sport, green for eco. It's very flashy. But when you start touching things, the difference appears. The dashboard in the Kia looks nice, but the lower half is hard, scratchy plastic. The buttons on the steering wheel feel a bit loose compared to the tight clicks of the Audi buttons. And then there's the climate control panel. Kia uses this touch bar that switches between radio controls and AC controls. So if you want to turn up the volume, you might accidentally turn up the heat if you forget to toggle the button. It's annoying and clearly a cost-cutting measure to save space. The seats in the Kia are wrapped in Synthex, which is a fancy word for fake leather. It's durable and easy to clean, but it doesn't smell or feel like the real leather you get in the Audi Q3. The Audi seats firmly hug you. The Kia seats are flatter and wider, which might be better if you're a bigger person, but they offer less support in corners. However, the Kia wins on features for dollar. To get ventilated seats, that's seats that blow cold air on your back, in the Audi, you have to pay extra for a high package. In the Kia Sportage EX Premium or SX Prestige, that comes standard. You also get a heated steering wheel and a 360-degree camera system for way less money than Audi charges. This is the part that matters if you have kids, dogs, or just a lot of stuff. And honestly, this is where the Kia Sportage absolutely destroys the Audi Q3. Remember how I said the Kia is 5 inches longer? All of that length went into the back seat and the trunk. In the back seat of the Kia Sportage, a 6-foot-tall adult can sit behind a 6-foot-tall driver and have inches of knee room to spare. You can physically cross your legs. The rear seats also recline quite a bit, so your passengers can nap easily on long road trips. It feels like a mid-size SUV back there, not a compact one. The Audi Q3 is tight. If you have a tall driver, the person sitting behind them is going to have their knees digging into the seat back. It is fine for kids, but adults will feel cramped after an hour. Then we get to the trunk numbers. These numbers are 100% accurate, and they tell the whole story. The 2026 Audi Q3 gives you about 29 cubic feet of space behind the rear seats. That is decent. It fits maybe 4 carry-on suitcases and a backpack. If you fold the seats down, you get roughly 49.9 cubic feet of total space. It is usable, but the roofline slopes down, so you can't fit tall boxes easily. The 2026 Kia Sportage is in a different league. Behind the rear seats, you have a massive 39.6 cubic feet of space. That is nearly 11 cubic feet more than the Audi. That is the difference between leaving the stroller at home or bringing it with you. When you fold the seats down in the Kia, it opens up to a cavernous 74.1 cubic feet. That is huge. That is almost 25 cubic feet more than the Audi. To put that in perspective, 25 cubic feet is roughly the size of a large refrigerator. You are basically getting an entire extra trunk's worth of space in the Kia. The Sportage also has a dual-level cargo floor. You can drop the floor down an inch to get more height or raise it up to hide your laptop or valuables underneath. The Audi has a rigid floor. If your main priority is hauling stuff, the comparison ends here. Buy the Kia. But if you care about how the car drives, keep listening because the tables are about to turn completely. This is where Audi reminds you why they charge the big bucks. The 2026 Audi Q3 comes with a new 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. This is not the old engine. It has been tuned up significantly. It now pushes out 255 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. It is paired with a 7-speed S-tronic dual-clutch transmission. This thing is quick. It does 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 5.5 seconds. That's sports car territory from 10 years ago. When you step on the gas, the dual-clutch transmission snaps through gears instantly. Bang, bang, bang. There is no waiting. The Quattro all-wheel drive system is standard, and it is brilliant. You can feel the car gripping the road in corners. The steering is sharp and heavy. It feels planted, secure, and genuinely fun to drive. You feel confident merging onto the highway because you have power in reserve. Now let's look at the Kia Sportage. The base engine in the 2026 Sportage is fine. It is a 2.5-liter four-cylinder that makes 187 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. It uses an 8-speed automatic transmission. The difference is night and day. 187 horsepower versus the Audi's 255. That is a gap of nearly 70 horsepower. You feel it immediately. The Kia takes about 9.1 seconds to get from 0 to 60. That is almost 4 seconds slower than the Audi. When you merge onto the highway in the Kia, you have to floor the pedal and wait. The engine gets loud and buzzy. It sounds like it is struggling. The transmission is smooth, but it is slow to downshift. If you need to pass a truck, there is a delay between when you press your foot down and when the car actually accelerates. The handling is also very soft. The suspension is tuned for comfort, so it leans a lot in corners. It bounces a bit over bumps. It's comfortable, sure, but it's not exciting. Now, I have to mention that Kia does offer a hybrid and a plug-in hybrid version of the Sportage. The plug-in hybrid makes 261 horsepower, which technically beats the Audi's horsepower number. However, even with that extra power, the Kia hybrid is heavier, so it still doesn't handle as well as the Audi. And the driving feel is disconnected. The brake pedal in the Kia hybrid feels mushy because it's trying to regenerate energy. The Audi brake pedal is firm and predictable. So, purely on driving dynamics, the Audi Q3 is a clear winner. It feels like a German engineering product. The Kia Sportage feels like an appliance. It gets you from A to B, but you won't smile while doing it. Now we have to talk about money, because this is the painful part. The 2026 Kia Sportage starts at a very reasonable price. The base LX model with front-wheel drive starts around $28,565. Even if you go for the fully loaded X Pro Prestige with all-wheel drive, the big screens, the leatherette seats, and the off-road tires, you are looking at roughly $39,000. The 2026 Audi Q3 has a starting price of $43,700, and that is for the base model. That base model doesn't have the ventilated seats, the upgraded sound system, or the navigation package. If you want your Audi Q3 equipped with the same features as the top-spec Kia, you are going to be paying closer to $52,000 or even $55,000. That is a $13,000 to $15,000 price difference. For that extra money, Audi gives you the badge, the 255 horsepower engine, the real leather, and a quiet, solid ride. But Kia gives you a warranty that Audi cannot touch. Kia offers a 10-year or 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. That covers your engine and transmission for a decade. Audi offers a 4-year or 50,000-mile warranty. That is less than half the coverage. If the turbo blows up in year 6, the Kia owner pays $0. The Audi owner pays thousands. That is a massive factor if you plan to keep the car for a long time. Also, think about maintenance. An oil change on an Audi Q3 can cost $200 or $300 at the dealer. An oil change on a Kia Sportage is $60 or $80. Premium gas is required for the Audi to get that max performance. The Kia runs happily on regular unleaded. These costs add up over 5 years. So, which one should you buy? If you are a car enthusiast, if you care about steering feel, if you want to hit the gas pedal and actually feel your head snap back, you have to buy the Audi Q3. The 2026 model is a beast. It is faster, sharper, and feels like a true luxury product. The interior build quality is superior, and the new technology is stunning. It is the better car to drive, period. But if we are being logical, the 2026 Kia Sportage is the better car to own. It has significantly more space for your family. It has a warranty that protects your wallet for 10 years. It has all the tech features you actually need for $15,000 less. You could buy the Kia and put a brand new Rolex on your wrist with the money you saved, and you would still have room left over for a vacation. The Audi is an emotional purchase. The Kia is a smart purchase. If you want to save money on your next car, subscribe to the channel right now.